Lies of P released their first DLC trailer for Lies of P Overture. In this DLC, you travel back to the past to uncover the hidden stories of Krat. In their own director's letter, they said that you experience the harrowing journey that birthed the fateful moment of you waking up in the middle of the puppet frenzy in the beginning of the game. So because of this, I have some theories from that minute-long trailer. Spoiler warning though, so don't watch if you haven't completed the game yet. The most obvious starting theory is that I think everybody's right, and the DLC starts at the Broken Stargazer at the Path of Pilgrim in Chapter 5. I don't think this is surprising to anybody, but it's nice to know that we were all right in our theories with that. The second I have is that the blue lady featured in the game, I think she has the start of the petrification disease. I went back to the fandom page to read more on it, and it says that there is no information on where the disease came from and what caused the spread of it. But there was at least 2 waves of the disease, and blue is the main color of the petrification disease in the game, so I'm thinking she has some kind of early variation of it. The petrification disease was also discovered by the alchemists and is caused by overexposure to Ergo, which the woman in the trailer seems to have with her blue abilities in the fight scenes. And Gianjo is also an alchemist. If you go back to rewatch the after credit scene in the original game, the woman speaking to Gianjo sounds very similar to the one in the trailer.
There are many forms of eternal life.
You're not the puppet I was expecting.
So it makes me think that we won't kill her, but I believe she's going to be an antagonist just because it looks like a fight in the trailer to me. Also, regarding the new woman, the only time we see the basic white puppets is around her. It makes me wonder if she's in the present time and is how we can go back to the past. Because the butterfly in the beginning of the trailer isn't blue like Sophia's, it's white. I'm not entirely sure on this theory though, because in the fight scene, P is wearing the winter outfit. I do think there's something important about why she's the only one with and around puppets though. And I highly doubt she's going to die, even if she seems like an antagonist in this one, because she sounds so similar to that woman at the end of the game. I'm convinced she's going to survive. And she's going to be in the sequel. Overall, though, the enemies shown throughout the trailer have the blue and black theme of the petrification disease, so I think we'll mainly be getting more information on that. And because of that, I think the main focus of this game is going to be on humans instead of puppets like the first one, which leads me to the craziest theory I have, and I'm pretty sure I'm wrong, but it's still fun to theorize. It's that P is a human in this one. Because you're going back in time, I think P's form could change, but his mind could remain the same. I think the biggest piece of evidence for this is that he can pet the orange cat in the trailer. That's what originally drew me to this conclusion. I'm not completely sold on this idea, especially because the lady says, "You're not the puppet I was expecting." But like I said, I thought maybe she's in the current game time instead of the past game time, so maybe I could still be right. And also, another piece of evidence is that Carlo lived in a boarding school in Monad and had a whole story with Romeo. But the locations in the DLC don't all remind me of Krat. At the same time though, Carlo also had brown eyes and no freckles. Regardless, I think it's fun to theorize because, 1, Gemini is broken in the beginning of the original game. So that means he has to break at some point in the DLC because it's a prequel, right? It kind of gets a little hard because time travel, you know? How much is this game going to affect the current game? 2, both Romeo and Carlo wanted to become Stalkers, and the game seems to be centered around Stalkers. Near the end of the game though, you see the boys try to get a Stalker to teach them. The Stalker in this scene looks really similar to the one in the trailer. 3, the main theme of the DLC just really feels like humanity to me. I don't think we saw a single puppet in the trailer. Even the background characters in the scenes like the museum are all human. The only exception is the obvious puppets in the circus area and the ones behind the blue lady and the puppet she clearly has as well. And 4, Geppetto built P in the secret workshop in Krat Central Station, so how could P exist before that? And the developer's letter says the DLC shows you the journey that birthed that fateful moment, the fateful moment being the puppet frenzy and you waking up in the middle of it. The puppet frenzy was caused by Geppetto to get P to collect Ergo to resurrect his son, meaning Carlo has to die for it all to happen. And Carlo dies of the petrification disease, I believe. So maybe my theory could be a little correct in some of these ways, even though I think I'm pretty wrong. I still think it's fun to think about, and I think regardless we'll get a little bit more backstory on Carlo because of the Stalkers and the Stalker woman. I do strongly believe the DLC is about humanity, since every boss shown so far looked like monsters of the petrification disease, similar to Archbishop Andreas in the base game. Other small theories I have is that I think people were right when they guessed that one of the fairy tales in this DLC is going to be Peter Pan, because of the line, "My forever friend, help me hold your hand and dance," is like kind of like a feminine voice that makes me think of Tinkerbell, especially because of the forever friend part. And the blue lady's hand is similar to Geppetto's, so I wonder if he got the technology from her or stole it from her. I can't remember if he ever talked about his hand in the base game, but they're very similar. The second one is, since we see Aliodoro, I wonder if we'll see how he dies or if we'll meet Parrot, who killed him in the base game. There are two things I'm really curious about this trailer though, like what the heck is going on with this red guy? He reminds me of like candle wax, and I don't think there's much red in the base game, so like what the heck is going on here? And the Stalker girl doesn't have an obvious animal mask, at least none that I can distinguish, so what's the story behind that? And finally, for one hope I have, I really hope we see Arlecchino, the King of Riddles. I think he was such a fun character. I would love to see him before he became who he is in the base game. I think that would be so cool. If we're having past returning characters, I'd love that. That's all I've got so far. I can't wait to see the DLC and finally play it.